So is it hot or am I just nervous? I can't tell. Whew. So I have been planning to take a sabbatical, and I don't know, has this ever happened to you where you've been planning for something, preparing for something, imagining it in your mind, putting in the work and the effort and the time and the energy, um, and then the closer and closer that you get to it, you start to really wonder if you really want that? Well, that's where I am today. Nevertheless, I've been planning a sabbatical, and I really want to share with you all today some of the things that have happened over the course of this pre sabbatical period that have been unexpected positive results of my planning process. And the reason why I want to share this is because I don't feel that I've seen much information with regard to kind of the pre sabbatical period. And I feel like there are a lot of people like me and potentially like you who have maybe planned for a sabbatical, and maybe you haven't gotten to the place where you could take it yet. But you found that as a result of your process, as a result of your planning, as a result of your effort, that you are starting to discover some things changing. At least I know that that's been the process for me. And now I'm getting to the point where in the next couple of weeks, maybe potentially I may be able to start a sabbatical, which actually seems kind of surreal to say. But I really started to reflect on the things that have happened during this time of planning, because now I'm kind of like, do I even need a sabbatical? Like, am I really going to take one or not? Because in this process of planning, I've kind of stumbled upon a life that I enjoy. So I just want to share that with you today. I'm going to share with you some of the kind of unexpected positive consequences that have come from this process of me planning and working through this strategic plan that I've had in hopes of taking a sabbatical. As you might know from some of my previous videos, if you watch them, I am a former overworked nurse. So I used to work excessively, a number of excess hours. And so over the course of this time that I've been planning a sabbatical, I've been restructuring my life and my priorities to come into alignment with where I felt my life needed to be in order to accomplish this goal of taking the sabbatical. And let me just share these things with you. Before I get into that, let me just introduce myself. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. I'm Dr. Nicole LaShawn, a nurse practitioner with a background in family medicine. On this channel, I talk about things related to health, nutrition, wellness, and travel. And I believe that health is wealth and that travel is a form of therapy. And I really like to help women, in particular, Black women, to incorporate travel into their wellness strategy, because I feel that it's really important, especially for us as Black women, that we're getting some travel in as a part of our wellness plan. So let me get into the first point. And actually, I don't know how many I have, but I am going to look down at my notes because these are the things that have happened and as a result of me working through this sabbatical planning process. Number one, I paid off a lot of debt. And of course, as you can imagine, that provided me with a lot of just general relieved some stress, and just overall started to make my life just feel better in general. Because of my sabbatical, I knew that if I took extended time off, it would be nearly impossible to do that if I had a tremendous amount of debt to pay while I was away. So it was part of my strategy to do whatever I could to pay off debt. And so, yes, I did do that over the course of the last couple years. The second thing that I did is I automated my finances. This helped in a number of ways, but in particular, it helped me to really change my mindset with regard to my finances. It really helped to prioritize it helped me to kind of prioritize the things that were valuable for me, because I had to decide where my money was going to go on a monthly basis. And I really wasn't sitting down after I got paid to decide how things were going to go. I really decided that ahead of time. And in looking at different people and how they did their finances and planning, I was hoping to be able to be away longer term, 6 months to a year. And so I knew that it would just make a sabbatical more feasible if I had practice with setting up and getting things automated, getting things organized, where I wasn't having to go into my accounts every month for a bill or every week or whatever, whenever they come up. The next thing that I did, number 3, was I set boundaries on certain relationships in order to help enhance their independence, if that makes sense. So wherever I had relationships where I felt that there was a lot of dependence upon me, right? Me being someone maybe where I was providing a lot of access, resources, enabling even maybe what I started to do was I started to work on those relationships, allowing that other individual to become more independent of me, because I knew that if I took a sabbatical, I wouldn't be there. And so I didn't want to say just step away, right? I realize people are going to handle this however they choose to handle it. But for me, I really saw this planning in this pre-sabbatical stage as an opportunity for me to kind of set that person up for success by allowing them to practice their independence, right, over time. And so that way, when I did go, it wasn't going to be like this very unusual shock to both them and I, and trying to be worried, and then being worried about how they were going to handle it or how things were going to go, because I have been able to gradually release the reins on some of the relationships where maybe I was more in the caregiver position and those types of things. The next thing that I did was I downsized, and I downsized significantly. Yes, I was in a huge house, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4 levels, over 3,000 square feet. The property was pretty large. So I downsized because I just really didn't want that level of responsibility. And I knew that it was not going to be feasible for me to maintain that on a sabbatical. So yeah, I downsized, moved into an apartment, and never looked back. That is one of the best things I could say that I have done for myself. And I know when I get into the conversations, because I am in a lot of communities where women are talking about their sabbatical and thinking about what they're going to do. I'm not telling anyone, or this video is not to advise anyone on what you should do. Every situation is unique. Every situation, is unique to you. But I will say that for me, where I was, oh my gosh, selling my house was such a breath of fresh air. And I definitely do not regret it. That has relieved so much stress, so much responsibility. Honestly, the upkeep of a home requires so much. Sold it, never looked back. No, I didn't rent it out. No, I'm not Airbnb-ing it. No. My goal with my sabbatical was freedom, right? I wanted freedom and peace. And for me, being a property owner that's renting out, being a property manager just didn't sound like peace to me. So for me, that's just not the route I wanted to go. The next thing that I did was that I decluttered. Of course, that came along with having to sell and having to downsize, decluttered. So I got rid of a lot of the things that I didn't love, didn't need, didn't want, and just wasn't serving me in this season of my life. And that, of course, relieved a lot of stress. The next thing that I did was I got a job that was part-time, and I made a decision to stop overworking. So I decided to make my life fit into my part-time income rather than trying to get money to live a life that I couldn't afford, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is I decreased my income, and I did that intentionally, and I decided to live within that rather than living above that. And that was definitely something that I'm so grateful that I chose to do, because it really helped to provide me with balance, a greater sense of peace, a greater sense of autonomy and freedom. And that's one of the things that I had desired out of my sabbatical as well. In addition to that, one of the reasons why I chose to work part-time as well during this pre-sabbatical phase was because in the conversations and in the communities where women are talking about sabbaticals, one of the big fears that women sometimes have is like, what am I going to do with myself? Like, if you've only worked for 20 years straight and you've worked full time for 20 years straight, you really haven't really had an opportunity to identify any identity or anything within your personality outside of work. Your work is your professional role is your whole identity. So for me, I wanted to be intentional in this pre-sabbatical period about establishing some identity capital that wasn't related to my profession. I wanted to make sure that I started to get to know who I was, started to get to know what I like to do, started to explore different aspects of who I was that wasn't work related, because I knew that that was going to be a shocker to my system to just go from working 50 and 60 hours a week into a sabbatical where I literally was doing no work. And honestly, to be honest, I was scared. I was scared of that, because I've been a nurse for over 20 years, and really that was most of what I've known about myself. And so I wanted to spend this last couple of years having free time and getting to know who I am in that free time, getting comfortable with being with myself, getting comfortable with having free time. It's a practice, right? It's a practice with discovering who you are and getting comfortable with who you are and getting comfortable not working. And so yes, I've had an opportunity to practice that over this last couple years. The other practice that I needed during this time, and what I decided to do very strategically for me being a nurse, is I really needed to practice not picking up extra shifts. If you are a nurse, that I'm sure you understand, on your days off, when you're a nurse, holidays, thing about healthcare is that healthcare never closes. It's 24/7. There's always going to be opportunities to make extra money, to get an extra check, that type of thing. And I knew that I needed to discipline myself to not see my free time as an opportunity to get an extra shift, to get extra money into work. And yes, I have established that discipline. I have learned to value my free time and my private time over making money, right? I've learned to prioritize that over the last couple years, and that I'm grateful for. And now I can say that with certainty that definitely my most valuable resource is my time, not money. My time and my health are more valuable than money. And I'm living now in alignment with that truth. The next thing that I did, thanks to Adelia of Picky Girl Travels the World, is I saved up some FU money. She always talks about having some FU money. And so yes, I saved up some FU money, and I made sure I had that available. Therefore, should anything come up, I don't feel as stressed or worried if things don't go right with the job. I'm free. I'm gonna be all right. We gonna be all right over here. You know what I'm saying? The next thing that I did was I started to travel. One of the things that I initially started envisioning and imagining for myself when I was planning a sabbatical was I imagined traveling the world for like a year, for an adult gap year or mini retirement, because that's what I had seen like Stephanie Perry, A Vicarious, and Rashida Dow had done, and they visited like 30, 40 countries over the course of a year during their sabbatical. And prior to coming across their videos, and Evelyn from the internets as well, I hadn't even heard of a sabbatical. So when they shared their sabbatical experiences and how it involved traveling to multi countries around the world, that was what I had envisioned for myself. But one of the things that I did over the last couple of years in this pre-sabbatical period was I decided that my time was valuable and that I wasn't going to wait forever to do the things that I love. So yes, I've been traveling very regularly, very consistently. Some of y'all have been seeing me. We've been in South Africa. Hey to y'all, Cape Town. We've been in Kenya. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Italy recently, came back from Italy on a birthday trip. So I've been incorporating the things that I love as it relates to travel into my regular life over the last couple years. And with that being said, it has just been life-changing. I don't feel like I'm waiting to have a sabbatical to do the things that I enjoy and do the things that I've love. I've been using my free time to take classes. I'm learning español. Yo hablo aprendiendo español y so I'm learning to speak Spanish y just just doing a number of different things, and it's been really, really fun. The other thing that I've done is that I've started prioritizing investing in my own self-development and things that were personally valuable to me. And this was not as a last thought and at the end of doing everything else for everybody else. I realized over the last couple years that somehow I had convinced myself that investing in myself, investing in my personal development had to always come behind everything else that I did for everybody else. And oftentimes, it was something that I saw as something extra special, like a luxury. And over the last couple years, I've discovered that investing in myself, in my own personal development, is a priority because I value myself. And no, I don't put it behind things that I do for other people. I do prioritize it. Yes, I budget for it. It's a line item in my budget for my own personal self-development. And so that has become valuable to me, and it has come into alignment with what I say my value is. I say that my value is my health and myself and doing the things that I love. But if I only put those at the bottom of my list when I have something extra, then I'm not living in alignment with what I'm saying. So yeah, the last couple of years I've been able to align my finances, my time, my resources, my energy, my money with my values. And so here I am. And I'm at a place where I might be taking a sabbatical soon. And here I am. Because I stumbled upon a life that I actually enjoyed. And I'm like, do I even need a sabbatical? Like, am I even going to take a sabbatical? Because in this planning process, I done messed around and created a life that I don't need to take a sabbatical from. So I've realized that I'm a worthy investment, that I'm valuable, that I deserve time, and that I deserve balance, and I deserve to incorporate the things that I love into my daily life, that I don't have to even wait for a sabbatical to do these things. And it's been such a beautiful, beautiful journey. So even if you're at a place where you're planning a sabbatical and it hasn't happened, I would like to just tell you that for me, just the planning process has been such a worthy investment of my time and energy. It's not in vain. And so the big question is, am I going to take a sabbatical? Girl, yes, I'm taking a sabbatical. Of course I'm going to. Why would I not take of course I'm going to take a sabbatical, because, the thing about life is an adventure. Why not? Why not do something different, do something special? Just because I've created a life that I enjoy doesn't mean that I can't do something else. So I'm super excited for what the future holds. And I hope that you find that some of this information was helpful. Leave a comment. Let me know where you're at in your sabbatical planning process. Have you given up? Like, are you making steps? Have you found that some unexpected positive benefits have come from your planning process? If so, drop a comment below. Till next time, bye.